Hello, my name is Roger. This is a review I'm doing on December 21st, 2025 to compare the Bowers & Wilkins PX8 S2s, which were introduced in 2025. So these are the newest, latest, greatest Bowers & Wilkins headphones, and considered to be some of the best, if not the best, Bluetooth headphones for 2025. These are the ZIK version 1s, which were introduced in 2012. They are also Bluetooth. They're controlled by turning this is the power switch, turning that on, and you control the volume by swiping up, swiping down for turning down your volume, going to the next song, you swipe forward, and going to the previous song, swiping back. And they're rechargeable by using a USB, I think micro. Again, it's a USB micro connector. And then this is a replaceable battery if the battery ever drains. And that's again for the ZIK 1s only. And for the ZIK 2.0, it's the same functionality. The sound is almost identical. And this is where you replace, it's a different battery, slightly flatter battery. But the ZIK 2s and 3s have the same thin battery, but again can be replaced and again recharged with the same micro USB. And the ZIK 3s, same thing. Functionality is the same. Sound quality is almost identical between the ZIK 1s, 2s, and 3s. And then here I've got the Bowers & Wilkins PI8s, just for another comparison, because I've got this pair and I really love the sound of the earbuds, but the earbuds are not in the same league as any of these four for headphones as far as overall sound quality. They're the best sounding earbuds I've heard. I've compared them to multiple other versions, but the headphones are by far and away better sounding, especially the bass and then mid bass. Now to compare the four headphones and the one earbud, I listen to songs such as Billy Idol's White Wedding, Beck, Uneventful Days, Dire Straits, Money for Nothing, Chris Stapleton, Tennessee Whiskey, Peter Gabriel, Road to Joy, and Stevie Wonder, Master Blaster. And I've given a rating for overall sound, a bass quality from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, mid-range, and treble. And I've put together a chart, and I'll put that on the screen in a moment here, so you can see exactly what the comparisons are. The reason I did this comparison is because I've had the ZIKs since 2012 and the 2014 and 2015, so I've had them for a long time, and I've loved the sound quality of each of them, and I just wondered how much better the sound quality is in 2025 than the technology back in 2012. And I was really surprised that the ZIKs sounded amazingly good compared to the Bowers & Wilkins. These have got a better, richer, fuller sound, but not by much. The numbers I came up with, and again I'll show them on the chart, is that the Bowers & Wilkins are 10 across the board. The ZIKs 1, 2, and 3 are about a 9.3, and the earbuds are about a 7.7 when I compare everything. As far as apps go, I rate the Bowers & Wilkins app a 10, but the ZIK 1.0 I only rate a 6, because the problem with the app is that it's hard to find it. I can't find any ZIK apps available for Android, so instead I'm using PowerAmp, and if used on a Windows PC, I use FX Sound for my app for any of the Bluetooth, these three headphones. But I have found them for iPhone. So the ZIK 1 is a different app than the ZIK you use for the ZIK 2 and the ZIK 3. But the apps are fantastic, except that sometimes if you've got a newer set, again, these have all been discontinued, they're no longer being manufactured, you can find them secondhand online on eBay, Poshmark, various websites that sell used goods for really decent prices usually. But again, the sound quality of these is fantastic. The apps are great, but you sometimes, if you download if you can find the iPhone app, and if I can find the link, I'll go ahead and post it below. But the iPhone ZIK 1.0 app, sometimes you'll find it, and then if you have a newer set, that it won't work with that app. So getting around that, you can find other apps, like I said, like FX Sound for Windows. There's other apps you can find or iPhone that'll control this. It'll still get good sound out of the ZIK 1s. But the ZIK 2s, I've found the app, and I'm able to use these quite well with just the ZIK 2 and 3 app that I've found online. And again, I'll show images of those later on in this review. And again, really, just to reiterate, the main reason I created this review is because, first of all, I've asked other top reviewers on YouTube if they can put together a review or make comments on how the ZIKs compared with the Bowers & Wilkins. And of course, those reviewers, I had noticed in their past history, they did reviews of all 3 ZIKs. Not every one of them, but some of the reviewers I found did reviews on the ZIK 1s and some on the ZIK 2s and 3s. So I wanted to get a honest opinion of how they compared, but nobody would comment or post a review. So that's why I'm doing this review, mostly to show that people that already own the ZIKs, that they may not need to upgrade because the upgrade isn't that significant. The sound quality is better on these than these 3, definitely, but not that much better. The bass on these is fantastic. The bass on the 3 ZIKs is really, really good though. These have 40mm drivers, as do all 3 of these. These are carbon fibers, carbon drivers, so they're stronger and have better bass. And again, these play louder than these, but these still play really loud, and the sound quality, again, is almost as good. The mid-range isn't quite as good on these as on the Bowers & Wilkins. The treble is just as good, I'd say. But you can adjust the graphical equalizers on all of these to maximize their sound to your taste. At this moment, the Bowers & Wilkins sell for a retail price of $800 US, and you have to pay tax on top of that, usually free shipping. The ZIKs I bought for a number of prices over the years. Again, the only way you can buy them now is used, but pricing ranges from anywhere from, I've bought a pair delivered that were $22 with a case, and I've paid up to a couple $100. Again, they're used because, again, you can't buy them new. New, they were each $300 when originally introduced, which was definitely worth it because, again, the sound quality in 2012, 14, and 2015 were fantastic at the time. And again, these are all 5 are Bluetooth, different versions of Bluetooth, but they all sound fantastic. The Bluetooth connection is great. I highly recommend all of them, really. This is the Bowers & Wilkins app on the iPhone. I would imagine it looks the same on an Android, but I have not checked it. On the left-hand side, you'll see you have noise cancellation, pass-through and off, and in the middle, below that, it says Advanced Equalizer. You select that, go over to the right, and those are the equalizer settings. Those are just to my preference. I like a little bit more bass, a little bit more treble. I typically go with a V-shape settings on all of the headphones that I use. Again, just personal preference, personal taste. And also on the left-hand side, you can see under the image of the headphones, 92%, that's the percent that's left of the battery. So those are pretty much all the settings. And again, this same app works for both the headphones and the earbuds for the Bowers & Wilkins. This is a screen capture from my iPhone searching for a Parrot ZIK app. The top app in the results is for the ZIK 2.0 and ZIK 3.0. The bottom app in the results is for the ZIK 1.0. This is the Parrot ZIK app for iOS. I don't believe there is one for Android. I've never found one. On the left-hand side, you can see there are 6 options. I never use the top left one, tuned by Lou Reed. That's almost an inverted V shape to have more vocals. On the active noise cancellation, I always leave that on. On the lower left, Parrot Concert Hall, you select on that, and it has disperses the sound. It has more of a wide sound stage. And on the top right of the left-hand app, on the equalizer settings, you touch on that, and it'll bring up the equalizer settings in the middle. There are many, actually just several, like 5 or 6 different defaults. You can set your own custom equalizer, and I just use this one because I like the V shape. The punchy setting is what I prefer. And if you go back and hit on the Parrot Concert Hall icon, it'll bring up the right-hand interface, and it just shows the different options: silent room, living room, jazz club, and concert hall. And I just prefer the wide sound stage of the living room. That works for me. This is the Parrot ZIK app for iOS for only ZIK 2s and ZIK 3s. It will not function for the ZIK 1s. On the left-hand side, the 90% shown is how much battery is left. On the second from the left, noise control, those are the decibels being canceled out with noise cancellation. The second from the right is a graphical equalizer, a little bit different interface, but you can adjust that, move that orange dot around to adjust to get you to the settings that you prefer. Again, I have mine on punchy, similar to the one that I had on the ZIK 1.0 app. And on the far right-hand side, again, it goes for how much wide space you want to have, the listening room size. So I typically leave that at living room, although again you can go silent room, which is the most closed in, or jazz club or concert hall. And again, this app is only for the ZIK 2s and 3s. So this is my tracking spreadsheet. Again, it's comparing the PX8 S2s to the ZIK 1, 2, and 3, and to the PI8 earbuds, Bowers & Wilkins. On the top right-hand side, you can see if you want to use ZIKs on a Windows PC, I suggest using FX Sound. It's a free app. It works great. It isn't quite as good as the native apps on the iOS or iPhone, but it still controls the sound a great deal, and it's really a nice application. And the bottom right, in purple, if you want to use the ZIKs on an Android phone, I use Power Amp app. It's not a free application. I think I paid $20 for a full version of it to use on multiple phones. And going through the ratings, again, I rated the PX8 S2s as 10.0 across the board. For each of the songs, pretty much the same on all of them. And again, the ZIKs 1, 2s, and 3s, I have those at 9.3. Again, the bass isn't quite as good on those as they are on the PX8s, but considerably better bass on all 3 ZIKs than there are on the PI8 earbuds. Again, the overall sound quality on the PX8s seems better than the ZIKs, but not by that much. Again, the bass is deeper, the mid-bass is better, the mid-ranges might be a little bit better, the treble is about the same. I feel the ZIKs are more spatial because of the spatial settings. I heard rumors that, well, I read somewhere online, probably Reddit, that Bowers & Wilkins may be coming out with modifications to their app to add sort of spatial adjustments to the app, but again, who knows if that'll happen. Right now the app works great anyways, just as is. And on the ZIK 1.0, I have their app rated as a 6, and that's only because if you can find the iOS ZIK 1 app, sometimes the version headphone that you have isn't compatible with that version of the app. So hypothetically, if you bought a ZIK 1.0, which was a much newer version than the earliest released versions, it may not work with that app, and so then you'd have to use something like Power Amp or some other app on your iOS to control those to get the full sound out of those. But in general, I've only run into that one time where I have one pair of ZIK 1.0s that wanted to upgrade, and then there's no upgrade after the iOS app. So I think, well, I can't remember what version of the iOS app I found. It was like 1.07 or 1.08. And I think the headphones were like a 1.10, and so it wasn't compatible with the previous version of the app. But anyways, there's other workarounds. You won't get the full sound quality out of the ZIKs on the iOS iPhone without the app, but you can still get good sound out of them and using a third-party app. And on the ZIK 2s and 3s, the app that I've found for those works with all of them. So I've had no issues with the 2s or 3s on using the app for iOS. It works perfectly on all of them. And as you can see on the top right-hand side, in the middle, year introduced, it shows what year each of the headphones were introduced to the market. 2025 for the PX8, ZIK 1.0, 2012, the 2.0, 2014, 3.0, 2015, and the PI8 earbuds were released and introduced in 2024. Another reason why I wanted to create this review is because with the ZIKs, when they first came out, they seemed to be revolutionary products. Again, they're Bluetooth, sound quality is fantastic, app controlled, a lot of flexibility in what kind of sound you can get out of them. So I believe when they were released in 2012 that they reached near perfection, in my opinion, for sound quality and functionality. For example, LG came out with a fantastic television in 2016. It was the G6 that was a top-of-the-line model, and it had HDR, OLED screen. It had 3D with really good 3D back then. You didn't need to have like powered glasses. They were just passive. And the image quality, the 3D was fantastic. Well, 2025, you have OLED TVs that if you compared them side to side, you probably couldn't tell much, if any, difference at all. Maybe a little more brightness, but the contrast, the image quality would be almost identical. I consider this comparison of headphones almost the same. We have reached really close to perfection sound for the Bluetooth headphones in 2012, and then they approved, and ZIK improved upon those for 2014 and 2015 slightly. Again, I don't notice any sound difference whatsoever between the ZIKs. And with the Bowers & Wilkins in 2025, the sound is better, but it is not a significant, drastic improvement over the other headphones I'm comparing them to. So, again, once you reach perfection, the changes and improvements are so slight, it makes you wonder if they're really worth it. And again, that's probably the main reason I wanted to have this review, is to show that you can get some older headphones that sound just as good as the ones that they produced in 2025.